Welcome! We will analyze in this video the strategies used by Arman Tsarukyan and Mateusz Gamrot to stop and counter takedowns, and how you can do the same using your fight IQ. Both fighters have a strong wrestling base, so when they face each other, they showed us an absolute masterclass in wrestling and counter wrestling, full of scrambles and techniques that you can use in your sparring sessions or training. But for that, you must use and develop your own fight IQ, and that's exactly what we're gonna do in this video. So let's break down the fight. The first thing you should probably know is that you can counter takedowns with your own takedowns. You shouldn't be afraid to attempt takedowns against a wrestler, even if they're an expert like Gamrot or Tsarukyan. Neither of them was afraid to try to take down the other. When a wrestler faces a striker or a grappler, they're usually in attack mode, thinking about taking you down, not considering that you might attempt to take them down, which can leave them open and vulnerable to takedowns. In fact, that's how Khabib was taken down by Abel. The last thing he expected was for Abel to try to take him down, which is why he didn't defend the takedown in time until he was on the ground. So don't be afraid to shoot for a takedown against your opponent. But here's the trick: don't shoot for takedowns in a straight line, because that's predictable and easy to defend with a sprawl. Instead, you can use circular takedowns, moving at an angle to off-balance your opponent. And you can use a feint first, like a jab or a cross, to prevent your opponent from countering. In the fight, during the 5th round, Gamrot feints a cross, and when Arman reaches out to block, Gamrot shoots for a double leg, but he doesn't go straight in. Instead, he cuts the angle to the outside, slides forward with his knees, and uses that momentum to grab Arman's legs. This entry works so well because it avoids the front-facing defense. Instead of shooting in a straight line, where Arman could stop him with a sprawl, Gamrot comes from the side, throwing Arman off balance. Arman cannot react in time, and Gamrot takes his back almost instantly. Another example is in round 2, where Arman throws 2 jabs to distract Gamrot. He changes levels and goes for a double leg, but he drops to his knees and he only manages to grab one of Gamrot's legs, turning it into a single leg. Notice how Arman's takedowns doesn't go in a straight line. Again, it's more circular, which helps him off-balance Gamrot and makes it harder for him to defend. The second point is that in this fight, they defend with a circular sprawl. You can see in round 3, Gamrot throws a jab, and Arman shoots for a takedown, but Gamrot is at a safe distance and sees the level change coming. He sprawls in a circular way, and uses a whizzer to put his weight on Arman. With this sprawl, Gamrot not only stops the takedown, but he also creates a better position to apply the whizzer and control Arman. He stays on the sprawl and goes to the front, reaches his right arm under Arman's legs to grab the back of his thigh. He does this to control the posture. He stops Arman from standing up easily or chaining into another takedown. It limits his movement. By holding the leg, Gamrot reduces Arman's chances to escape or counter. Don't just drop to your hips. You can sprawl in a circular motion, following the angle to the shot to stay in front of them. Then you can secure a whizzer to put your weight on them to shoot down their attack. During the whole fight, they shoot circular takedowns and also defend with circular sprawls. And talking about sprawls, if you've defended a takedown, you can counter with the Uchimata. In the second round, we see a circular takedown and a circular sprawl again, but this time Gamrot counters. Arman locks a body lock, and as they start to get up, Gamrot uses a whizzer. That whizzer gives him control over Arman, allowing him to hit a clean Uchimata, flipping Arman and taking him down with a perfect counter. An Uchimata is a judo throw where you use your thigh to flip your opponent forward. Gamrot keeps the whizzer after the throw, making sure he stays in control and limits Arman's options on the ground. Once you've defended a takedown with a sprawl and a whizzer, don't just stay there on the defensive. You can use this control to counterattack. You can practice the Uchimata from the whizzer position. When your partner shoots for a takedown and you stop it with a sprawl, keep the whizzer and use your free leg to hook their leg while turning them. Then you can throw them to the ground. And during your sparring sessions, look for the Uchimata when your opponent is fully committed to their takedown after you have sprawled. Point number 4 is a little bit harder and takes practice, but when done right, you'll land a counter your opponent definitely won't expect. Is that you can counter with takedowns when your opponent overextends, using their own momentum. In round 3, Arman fakes a jab and lowers his level, possibly going for a left hook or a takedown. The important thing is that he overextends forward, and Gamrot takes the opportunity to counter, but notice how he doesn't go straight into him. Instead, he circles to his left first and uses Arman's momentum against him to score the takedown, perfectly countering Arman's attack. You don't always need a sprawl to defend a takedown. If you can read that your opponent is overextending, like when they level change or they lean forward, you can counter with a takedown of your own. The key is to follow their momentum, not fight against it, and use their movement to bring them down. And Arman in round 1 does exactly the same. Gamrot throws across and shoots for a double leg, but Arman anticipates it. He places his left hand on Gamrot's shoulder mid-entry like a frame and quickly sidesteps to his right, getting out of Gamrot's line of attack. In this new angle, Arman counters with a lateral takedown, grabbing Gamrot's left leg while his left hand starts to push down on the back of Gamrot's head. Carried by his own momentum, Gamrot falls into Arman's trap, and with a quick shift in weight, Arman takes him down. If you see your opponent is overextending, whether going for a takedown or throwing a strike, don't resist their movement. Lower your level first, follow their momentum, and take them down using a trip or a bodylock takedown. Try to anticipate overextension by watching for signs like a level change or a leaning forward. Then you lower your level, take a lateral step, and use their momentum to bring them down. The fifth point we can see in this fight is that when either fighter gets taken down or control on the ground, they never stay still. They're always looking for a scramble. In round 1, Arman takes down Gamrot and follows up with a leg lace to trap both legs. But as soon as Gamrot just frees one leg, he already has space to start working for a reversal. With his right leg still trapped, Gamrot grabs Tsarukyan's right hamstring with his right hand and does a move that mixes parts of both a Granby roll and a Peterson roll. This hybrid roll makes both fighters spin and ends with Tsarukyan's in a front body lock, but Gamrot escapes the leg lace. It's a unique mix. A Granby roll is usually a shoulder roll to escape or change position, while a Peterson roll uses a control of a limb to spin the opponent. Here, Gamrot uses both, grabbing Arman's leg like a lever to start the roll. The result is a position change that puts Tsarukyan in a front body lock, freeing Gamrot from Tsarukyan's leg control. As they rise, Arman turns the body lock into a rear body lock. Gamrot rolls again with the same roll, but this time he is grabbing Arman's left hamstring with his left hand and pushing Tsarukyan's right leg with his own leg. The right leg makes Tsarukyan unbalanced, making the roll more effective. They end up in the north-south position, with Arman still holding the body lock from above. Here in the north-south, with Gamrot's head between Arman's legs, he grabs his leg again, and he uses that leg to spin his body, and breaches to free his head. Then he moves his hips over Arman's head and does a cartwheel, spinning over Arman's back, and releases the leg. Both men stand up, ending the sequence and switching positions. In the end, Arman breaks the body lock and returns to striking. The entire sequence is insane. Gamrot has an amazing skill to mix different techniques and adapt them to MMA. Another example of a roll and a scramble happens just seconds later. Remember the takedown Arman used as a counter? Well, Gamrot drops to his knees, but in one smooth motion he uses the momentum to do a Granby roll, pushing off Arman's leg with his own to create space. Arman posts with his right hand and lands in a loose 3/4 mount, but because he gets up after the scramble, there's nothing stopping Gamrot from getting back to his feet and attacking again. You can practice scrambles in the gym. If you get taken down against the cage or to the mat, you can use a Granby roll or a Peterson roll to escape and get back to a neutral position or even take control. The point number 6 is that you can read your opponent's patterns to counter their takedowns. In the first round, Gamrot had a tendency to throw kicks at Arman, so Arman picked up on it. He catches the kick and uses it to execute a double leg, taking Gamrot down, and he immediately grabbed up Gamrot's legs to keep him from standing with a leg lace. Gamrot also does the exact same thing in round number 4, but with a subtle and smart adjustment. He switches to the southpaw stance. Arman fights in the orthodox stance, and he tends to throw a body kick whenever they're in the opposite stance. In fact, at one point, Arman purposely switches to southpaw when Gamrot is in orthodox, just to land the body kick, because the angle is better in open stance matchups. So Gamrot switches to southpaw and anticipates the kick, catching Arman's leg, and executes a clean takedown. In the gym, watch your partner closely during the sparring sessions. Does he throw a kick after the jab? Does he change levels after a feint? Use those signals to anticipate and counter. For example, if he throws a body kick, you can catch it and shoot for a single leg. And you can also record your sessions to identify patterns and set up tactical traps.